Happy 30th birthday, Zelda. Now it's my 30th birthday too, so this month I'm going to give you something special. It's Zelda month at Nerds Geeking Out. Number 10. The Oracles for the Game Boy. Even though they are two separate games, they technically are one game when you think about it. You have to put in a secret code at the end of finishing one to continue your game off in the other. And at the end of the game, you finally get to face Ganon, making it a full, complete game, unlike the two separate ones. The sequences of passwords and trading between the two games and the new rings made it a very interesting feature for the Zelda series. Number 9. The Minish Cap for the Game Boy Advance. This game was super fun. You get to shrink down in size and explore a new area of Hyrule that you've never experienced before. You get to see everything from a tiny, tiny little size. You also got to experience the Force Sword for the first time, transforming Link into 4 different versions of himself, completing new and exciting puzzles, fighting new enemies in new and exciting ways. This game makes the list at number 9 because of all these really good reasons. Number 8. Majora's Mask on the N64. Now, Majora's Mask was really unique by giving you a ticking clock in the Zelda game, something really never seen before. What was really interesting about Majora's Mask was the inclusion of the masks in the game. The masks gave you different powers depending on what you wanted to do. So it made the game a completely unique experience for a Zelda game. So instead of running around and collecting different swords and collecting different bows and arrows and collecting this, collecting that, you got masks to transform you into a Goron, into a Zora. It was just a fantastic idea from the get-go. The dark and ominous atmosphere made the game really, really terrifying for younger kids experiencing Zelda for the first time, and it helped to bring more mature Zelda players back to the series with a more mature tone. Majora's Mask, always a good choice in my book. Number 7. Zelda 1, the first ever Legend of Zelda, released in 1986. This game was amazing. It was the first ever one we got to experience. It introduced the Triforce, introduced Ganon, introduced Link. There was no Master Sword, but there was a White Sword. And there was also a Master Quest at the end of the game, which a lot of games in the future started to mimic eventually. So all in all, I would say this game is a solid game in its own right. Everybody loves the first Zelda game. Everybody has to play it. If you're going to be a Zelda fan, I highly recommend it. Number 6. A Link Between Worlds. This game brought back the nostalgia factor from A Link to the Past, bringing you back to the same Hyrule you experienced before, but with a twist. You didn't have to experience the dungeons 1 through 8 again. You could pick whichever dungeon you wanted to be in. So if you decided that, hey, I want to go do the Water Temple first, you go to the Water Temple first. If you wanted to do the Wind Temple first, you go to the Wind Temple first. Whoever floats your boat. You also had to rent the items instead of earning them in the dungeon, making it even more difficult to complete the dungeon, because if you died, it took the item away from you. So it gave you a reason to really, really want to live and complete that dungeon in your first try. And if you didn't, well, at least you had something to spend rupees on finally. Number 5. Zelda 2. This one was really, really unique for its time. Side-scrolling Zelda. Every sequel, when Nintendo started releasing them, had some sort of unique feature to them. Mario 2 was a little different, having multiple selections and not the same powers as the first game. Castlevania 2 was more of a role-playing factor and was really cryptic compared to the first action-adventure side-scroller. Zelda 2, once again, changed up the mold. It was a side-scroller. It had a little more role-playing elements roped into it, because of the fact that you can level up and gain spells and new features for it. It was a really, really, really hard game, which made a lot of people frustrated. The boss, Shadow Link, was really, really, really hard unless you cheesed him, just hung out in the corner of the screen and stabbed him to death. All in all, Zelda 2 to this day still holds up as a very, very good game, and it made it unique because it had the first ever time you can go to multiple towns, and it allowed you to do different types of sword techniques as opposed to just slash slash slash. So that makes Zelda 2 worthy on this list. Number 4, Ocarina of Time. Well, you're kind of be mad at me because this is probably the most controversial decision I had. By the time this game came out, I've already played 4 Zelda games, so when I experienced this game, I didn't think it was that good of a Zelda game because it didn't feel like Zelda to me. But the transition from 2D to 3D for Zelda worked out well, unlike most games. Everybody seems to love this game. It has its own fan base, and it has a huge fan base. This is usually number 1 on most people's lists. The inclusion of Eponia and the Ganondorf, and just a ton of other features in this game, and time traveling. And this game is kind of like the master in the timeline because everything revolves around this game in the timeline of Zelda. So all in all, it's a fantastic Zelda game. It really plays well. You can replay it twice with the Master Quest. It has a lot to offer. The trading sequence is great, and it has a lot of creepy moments and a lot of really mature tones for being such a kid's game. Definitely worthwhile. That's why it made the top 5. I'm sorry it didn't make number 1, but this is my list. So if you wanted to be on number 1, make your own list, and please put it in the comments and link me to it so I can take a look at it too. I'm always interested in seeing everybody else's opinions. Number 3, The Wind Waker. This was a completely unique idea. Now remember I said before, I really wasn't sure about the 3D Zelda scheme. Well, Wind Waker did it quite well. As opposed to being on land like every other Zelda game, they decided to throw water in the mix, so you were experiencing Zelda from a completely different area. Traveling on different islands, discovering sunken treasure, battling pirates. I mean, what's not to love about this game? It's a fantastic game. Everybody agrees that it's really fun, really easy to play, and if you want to make it your first Zelda game, I highly recommend it. It's just a fun game to play all around, so why not? Wind Waker all the way. It also has sneaking abilities. You can hide in barrels and sneak around moblins and attack them from behind, so it made a Zelda game almost like a Metal Gear game. I mean, what's not like to love about that? Number 2, A Link to the Past. The first Zelda game on Super Nintendo. Actually, the only Zelda game on Super Nintendo. This game was fantastic when I first played it. I was just blown away by the graphical upgrade from the original Legend of Zelda to this game. Now, what made this game so special was it really showed you what Hyrule really looks like. You only got a taste of it in the first 2 Zelda games. This game really let you explore Hyrule in all of its beauty. Just from the Dark World to the Light World, fighting Ganon and his own wizard form, what I love most about this game, though, was the upgrade in swords. You went from the regular sword your uncle gives you to the Master Sword right off the bat. Like, yeah, we're gonna throw the Master Sword in, or what now? Then you upgrade that to the Tempered Sword. Like, what? You can upgrade a Master Sword? Who does that? Apparently Link can. And then you go all the way to the Golden Sword. The massive upgrades this game offered with bombs, the sword, your armor, your shields, it made more of a role-playing experience, and it made you want to adventure more to discover, hey, what more can I possibly want to get? Number 1 goes to The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. Now, what's great about this game, it was the first handheld Zelda, and it was very ambitious for its time. They were trying to remake A Link to the Past on the Game Boy. And what happened was a great accident. They made Link's Awakening. This is the first Zelda game to break the mold and not want to use a Triforce, and not use Zelda, and not use Ganon. It was a really, really ballsy move on their end to get rid of all the old-fashioned Zelda formula. What I liked most about this game, though, it was dark. You were dreaming the whole time. And if you think about it, everybody on the island doesn't really exist, but yet you fall in love with the girl who isn't really there, but you don't know that. It's just really enchanting. It was the first game to have different songs for each temple. It was the first game to really introduce a big-time boss theme that was like pumped you up. First game where you can jump. The first game with the trading sequence, that was huge. Finally, all these extra items are worth something. You finish a trading sequence and you get a boomerang. What does a boomerang do? Well, it kills the last boss in one hit. Why don't you want to do a trading sequence?
It was also the first game with fishing involved, and it was the first game with multiple learned songs for the Ocarina. Plus, it was the first game that they actually mentioned the Ocarina as opposed to just the basic flute.
Now, like I said, I would really like to see what your recommendations are for your top 10 Zelda. If you have a favorite top 10 list, please put it in the comments below or make your own video, and please send me a link to that video. I'd be glad to watch it. and let me know what you think your top 10 Zeldas would be. If you have any Zelda questions, if you want to talk about Zelda, please hit up our website, nerdskickingout.wordpress.com, so we can talk about more Zelda things or more geeky things. Hey, it's going to be Zelda month, so what's coming up next? I don't know, you tell me. Please stay tuned to our channel, and always remember, keep ripping it.